All right. Well, so yeah, I didn't go live last night because I actually downloaded Ghostbusters Afterlife. If you don't know this, Ghostbusters is like my all-time favorite movie. Um, I think I saw it when I was like, I want to say like 5 or 6 years old or something like that. I saw it on like ABC Sunday Night Movie or something like that. Like back in the day, it was on TV, and my parents like recorded it on VHS. We had like a tape player, so we recorded the movie. It was funny back in the day when you had to record on VHS. You had to sit there and you had to like edit it yourself. So when they go to a commercial, you would have to like hit the pause, and as they're coming back, you'd hit play. So they would even do it on purpose. I think they used to do, the movie will be right back after these messages, and then it's like, and now we return to the movie and all that. And so it gave you a second to switch it back, but if you missed it, like you'd cut off some of the movie. And like there were some situations where I guess like my dad fell asleep or something, and like they would come back from a commercial break, and like he wouldn't unpause it. I'd be like, hey, you gotta unpause it, and it would miss like a good like minute of the movie. But anyway, yeah, that was like back in the late 80s. I can't even say it was in the 90s. It was in the late 80s. So wow, I must have been younger. I had to be maybe 4 or 5 when I saw that then. That explains so much about me. I was really young when I saw Ghostbusters. And yeah, it was like my favorite thing. Most people my age, when they were a kid, at least they knew about the Ghostbusters. But it was my favorite thing. I love anything supernatural, anything paranormal. Anything with ghosts, especially aliens, things like that. Always been a huge fan. And then, add to the mix, just Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. And, yeah, I mean, and if you don't know about Dan Aykroyd, that dude really believes in ghosts. Like, he really believes in, like, aliens and ghosts and, like, other dimensions and stuff like that. It's really cool. Like, because I'm into that stuff, too. So when I find, like interviews with him and, like, they get him starting talking about that, it's awesome. I love hearing it. I love hearing him talk about it. And it's funny, too. He's aware of it because in the Ghostbusters Afterlife, I don't think this is giving anything away. I mean, it is, but I feel like anybody that wanted to see the movie, they could have by now. So if you don't want Ghostbusters Afterlife spoilers, I guess don't watch for maybe 5-10 minutes. But yeah, like Dan Aykroyd is in the movie. He like Ray Stantz is in the movie, I should say. It's not just Dan Aykroyd playing like a cameo. It's like the character's in there. And there's like a little kid. The story mostly centered around the kids, and the one kid, his name is Podcast, and he has a podcast. And like, he's like, oh, I only have 1 subscriber and all that and blah, blah, blah. And like later in the movie, when Ray shows up at the place, he finds out that like Ray Stantz is the kid's 1 subscriber. And like, he's like, he like starts talking about like ghosts and stuff, like, in his like Dan Aykroyd voice. You know what I'm talking about, the Dan Aykroyd voice, I'm on the spot. I can't do it, but sometimes I pull off a decent Dan Aykroyd impersonation. But yeah, like, I've seen like, how many now? So it's been Blade Runner, right? It was, what else? Blade Runner, obviously the Star Wars trilogy came back, but that came back a couple times. So we'll just say Blade Runner, Bill and Ted, Matrix, now Ghostbusters, right? These are all movies that have been gone for like 30 years, and they just like decide to, well, Matrix not 30, I think Matrix might be 20, maybe even less actually, but I'm pretending that the sequels never happened though. But yeah, like, so we're getting like these series of like sequels that are coming out significantly after a series has kind of concluded. And I gotta say, like, So far, my favorite is Blade Runner 2049. But I would say Ghostbusters is a solid. Hold on. All right, sorry. Interruptus. It's the most time she spends with me all day. But yeah, like, so what was I saying? So yeah, Ghostbusters is definitely solid second place as far as these sequels come out. Like Bill and Ted was kind of and The Matrix I think was just a mess. But this one was pretty good. They did just the right amount of fan service and stuff, and obviously with like Harold Ramis being gone, so that was kind of a touchy subject, you know. So it was like how are we gonna like do this, you know? And I mean, they did the obvious thing. I mean, like anybody that's a Ghostbusters fan kind of knew how they were gonna get Harold Ramis, aka Egon, into the movie. And obviously, like, his character was dead, and he came as a ghost, right? So that was kind of it was cool to see. They did a really good job. They made his ghost look. It was a little bit more dignified than John Belushi's ghost in the first one, because they turned John Belushi's ghost into Slimer, and I mean Slimer is, come on, right? So yeah, they made him a ghost, which I thought that was kind of cool. It's definitely fun. It was a fun watch. The action was fun. The special effects were like, I don't know. I kind of like the stop motion stuff that they did in the original. I felt like it made stuff seem a little bit more tangible, like they were actually there, you know. And you know, with the effects done mostly, it looked like it was like models, but they moved with CGI, if you know what I mean. Like, kind of like, you know how like Jurassic Park, when Jurassic Park came out, it was like animatronics, but then like there was a little bit of CGI to clean it up and make smoother movements. It wasn't like that. It was more along the later Jurassic Parks, where they had the models and they used the models to just make full like CGI movement, you know. So I mean, so that kind of takes me out, especially like since Ghostbusters has like a mood, and obviously like Ghostbusters is a New York movie. You know, growing up around New York, I kind of you get a feeling from New York movies, you know, like you see like very like noticeable landmarks and neighborhoods and behaviors, and like sometimes even as much as like they'll go into like a store and it's like kind of familiar to like, you know, what you know, going into a bodega or something, you kind of get the feeling of it, you know, stuff like that. So that was gone. They weren't in New York. They were in like a farm in Oklahoma or something like that. I'm not gonna give like plot stuff away. I've just given like a little couple examples and stuff, what I liked and didn't like about the movie. I definitely think I would like to see more Ghostbusters movies. I honestly, maybe instead of like ending the first one, they should have just like begun a new one. Like, or maybe that is what they did with the like having the kids there. I'm not sure, because it ended with like the Ghostbusters, you know. It was you know, Ray, Peter, Winston, and then Egon's grandkid instead of Egon, you know. So it kind of like ended with the four of them there. But there were a couple other people in there that kind of seemed like, honestly I thought the movie was going to be all like focused on Finn Wolfhard, the dude from Stranger Things. I just assumed that, like, you know, they really want to push this kid as a star, so he was going to be the main person. But it wasn't him. It was definitely like the little girl. Well, not little girl, but like, you know, the Phoebe, the 12-year-old girl that looked like Egon. you know. So I mean, I thought overall it was pretty good. I liked the movie. Paul Rudd was funny in it, but it was kind of weird. I guess it makes sense because it's like the passage of time in the movie. Like it's a later period, so you know people act differently than they did, I guess, in the 80s and 90s. So like, you know, having somebody talk the way Paul Rudd talks. Yo, what's up, Renz? Yo, I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife last night instead of streaming, and I wanted to just like do a quick what I thought about it before I played any games, because Ghostbusters is my all-time favorite movie. So to see a sequel of it, and I'm bummed I didn't see it in the theater. The theaters by me, they were open and they were playing it, but like I don't know, I wasn't. It's not worth getting COVID over, you know. Like, not that like COVID is like terribly bad by me right now, but or at least it wasn't then when the movie came out. I think it is now, but I don't know. I wasn't about to go and risk that over the movies, so I waited till it came out on streaming, so I watched it last night. But it's good. I mean, I got like a sound system set up and like a nice screen, and I got the lights and everything in there. So I mean, it's a cinematic experience for me. So, yo, what's up, Hitman? Am I in the U.S.? I'm in the U.S. Yeah. So we got like, you know, I don't think we're closing anything officially. Like at least not by state mandate, but I think at this point, like, we've reached this point where like there's so many employees that have died, and the living ones are sick, and the ones that aren't sick don't want to get sick. So a lot of places are, you know, closing down, and I mean not closing down, but like, you know, like closing, and you know, gonna try to ride out the storm, I guess. Which is a shame, because, you know, at least when the government mandated it, they were given loans and stuff to these jobs. Now they're kind of on their own. So yeah, they're just kind of dealing with that. Just move to an island without people until COVID ends. Well, if I move to an island without people, I still won't be able to watch Ghostbusters in the theater. And I don't know if COVID is ever gonna end. At least not in the United States. It's gonna get to the point where like we're not gonna be able to travel. We're not gonna be able to leave the country, except for like a couple of territories that, you know, that are also ridiculous. It's so silly. I feel like, because it seems like it like you could learn to live with it, right? Like close things down like briefly when the numbers go up. So it's, you know, it's like the numbers go up and then you close things down and it'll kind of like go like down a little bit, you know? But like what they do is they wait until like the it goes as bad as it could possibly be, and then they start doing damage control. So it's like it never goes away. Did I like Ghostbusters? I did. I liked it, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best sequel I've seen. Like since lockdown, I've watched a lot of movies. So two of my favorite movies from the 80s got sequels in like 2019 and then 2021. So it was Blade Runner and Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is my number one favorite. Blade Runner is definitely like top 5. I like the Blade Runner sequel more than the Ghostbusters sequel. But I still loved it. I loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. One thing I don't like in these movies is when they just try to like recreate scenes. Maybe if you do like one scene like that you recreate, and then the rest just be completely original. Like, so like with the Ghostbusters, like they recreated. Did I see Ghostbusters 84 in theaters? I was too young to see the first one in theaters. I saw it on a re-air when it aired on television And then my parents, we had a VCR with a recorder, and they recorded it off the TV. So I saw a TV censored Ghostbusters from ABC in like 1980 something. And then when Ghostbusters 2 came out, I saw that in theaters. And I guess I was a bit young. I must have been like maybe 6 years old or so, right? When did that come out? 89? Yeah, I want to say it came out 89, maybe 90 something. I was pretty young. And I just distinctly remember wanting to sit all the way in the front of the theater. And then the movie scared me, and then I ended up moving to the back of the theater. I'm trying to remember what scared me. I think I made it all the way to the end where Vigo comes out of the painting. If you're familiar with that movie, when Vigo came out of the painting, and then they shot him back, and then like he possessed Ray, and then Ray was like all like his face was all messed up, and then like Vigo's head became like really demonic. I think that was the point where I just had to get to the back of it. And it was scary all along, man. Ghostbusters 2 was legit scary. Like when Oscar climbs out the window and he's like on the ledge of the window, and the Janusz ghost comes by and grabs him and stuff. That freaked me out, man. That was scary stuff. Trying to think if the new Ghostbusters had anything in it that I feel would legitimately be scary to a kid, and I don't think it did. That sucks, because that's kind of like one of the things I liked about Ghostbusters was when they wanted to be scary, they were a little bit scary, So I really like that about Ghostbusters. But overall, I definitely recommend the movie. It was. I do not regret watching it. I'll probably watch it a couple more times.